Like, for instance, this is a podcast about dating and relationships. If you are on like dating apps, for instance, and you're like, why am I always getting ghosted? Or why is the same thing happening over and over again? It's because the programs you're running in your subconscious mind. For instance, a lot of the programs I get to create with people are like, I deserve love and acceptance as I am. A lot of people do not have that program running. They have a very contracted or limited program, maybe something along the lines of, oh, I have to give and give and give to receive love and acceptance. Or I have to say yes to things I don't want to do to receive love and acceptance. Maybe it's not safe to be seen, right? Because people were in unsafe circumstances, or they, had unsafe and not good things happen to them while they were, these are just like common programs that people need to change in their subconscious mind to have healthier relationships, to be maybe on dating apps and not feel like so triggered or upset if a date doesn't go well, or if somebody ghosts you, or maybe you create new programs and you just don't get ghosted anymore because you've expanded your self-worth and what you deserve in your subconscious mind. So, I don't try to talk anyone into coming to see me, but the process is very simple. We can talk as much or as little as someone wants. And the two directions we go is like, I'll ask somebody what is taking up a lot of your headspace that's stressful or annoying or frustrating. And that could be like your biggest, deepest, darkest wound and trauma, or it could be like something annoying that your neighbor said that you just can't stop thinking about. It doesn't matter. It takes up a lot of your headspace. So we'll work in the direction of like, let's unattach from a couple of things, go in a new direction, and then let's talk about what you want and create a new program or two. We do balances in PSYCH-K, and so we usually get to 2 or 3, sometimes 4 balances in a session, which is a lot, because when your brain actually changes, it can be, people feel elated and high, or they might feel exhausted, right? Because like letting go of stress can be really exhausting. Creating a new program in your brain can be tiring, but not in a bad way. This is, you're different now, right? But yeah, we usually get to 3, sometimes 4 balances in a session, and we talk about what you want. So if you're like, I deserve healthy relationships, or I am worthy of healthy love, or it's safe for me to be who I am and receive love, like whatever it is that you want, we talk about that and we come up with your most favorite words. And that's your program that we create with the PSYCH-K balance. So it's very beautiful. And then I do have formal mental health training in something called internal family systems, which anybody who knows about IFS is like, oh my God, that's so cool. It's very beautiful as well. And it's just a way of like deeper inquiry. So sometimes I might use some IFS and then maybe do a PSYCH-K balance. Sometimes my sessions are like a combination of modalities like that, which is why I call it subconscious therapy. Because we are working in the subconscious, and if you are doing a few sessions with me, like it really is truly therapy, and your life is going to be different because you have these new programs, which means you have a new perception, a new lens, and new experiences. So yeah, the process is simple. We talk as much or as little as you like, and sometimes we don't know until we meet how the session is going to go, but it's usually PSYCH-K and then maybe PSYCH-K and IFS.
Yeah, what is IFS?
Internal family systems so both PSYCH-K and IFS were created by psychologists who were not getting where they wanted to go with their patients. Internal family systems is this very beautiful, what I love about it is non-diagnosing, it is non-pathologizing, and the premise is that we all have parts that we've created, and these parts protect us from our more vulnerable, wounded, and exiled parts. And then the premise also is that we all have this self energy, which is loving and open and compassionate and curious. And so what we want to do in IFS is get our parts in relationship with ourselves so that those parts can come out of extreme roles of protecting, because like a protector might be like hyper vigilant, intense, and bossy, and overworking or perfectionist. Get those parts in relationship with the self, so that the parts can, what we call it, unblend, and they can be less extreme, and then you can be more self-led and less parts-led. And then if we're very lucky, then we get to actually unburden our exiles. And so the parts are usually parts of us that are very young and trapped in the past, that those parts were created from a time when we needed to protect ourselves to survive. Parts can also be what we call, they're like either managers or firefighters are the protector parts. And the firefighters are more like, they can be self-harming. They can be like overindulging, whether it's food or sex or spending money, distractor type energy. Yeah, and the premise is that no parts are bad. They're just trying to protect you from what they believe is a deeper pain, a deeper kind of suffering, which would be like an abandoned part or a wounded exile. So it's really cool because like I'm not the therapist. What I get to do is hold my own self energy and then lend that to your system, and your self energy is really the one that knows what to do. So I just ask you the right questions to explore your parts and get them in relationship with yourself. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So do you work with couples or